There's a knock at the door. You open it. A man stands there holding pliers, a rusty chisel, and a bottle of brandy. He smiles, missing half his teeth, and says, "I'm the dentist." Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we're traveling back to the 18th century, a time of powdered wigs, elegant carriages, and dental care that would make a medieval torturer say, "Come on, that's a bit much." This is a world where going to the dentist wasn't a medical appointment. It was a public event, a spectacle, sometimes literally held in the town square. And if you thought modern root canals were bad, well, just wait. Picture this. It's 1750. You're a respectable merchant in London. You've got a toothache that's been gnawing at you for weeks. It started as a dull throb. Now it feels like someone's hammering a nail into your jaw every time you breathe. So you do what anyone would do. You send for the tooth drawer. Not a dentist. There were no dentists yet, not really. The word dentist wouldn't even become common until later in the century. No, you got a tooth drawer, sometimes a barber, sometimes a blacksmith, occasionally just a guy named Roger who owned some pliers and wasn't afraid to use them. He arrives at your door. No medical degree, no formal training, just confidence, forearm strength, and a leather apron covered in mysterious stains. He looks at your swollen face, nods knowingly, and says, "Right, let's have it out then." You sit in a wooden chair. There's no reclining headrest, no little paper bib, just you, him, and a growing sense of dread. The primary tool? The dental key. It looks like a medieval door key crossed with a bottle opener, and it works about as gently as it sounds. The tooth drawer wedges this thing against your tooth, twists it like he's trying to open a very stubborn jar of pickles, and yanks. If that didn't work, there was the pelican, not the bird, a device that looked like a pelican's beak and was used to grip and lever teeth out of your skull. Imagine a pair of pliers designed by someone who'd never seen a tooth but had a lot of anger to work through. And if your tooth was really stubborn, they'd just chisel it. Literally, a small hammer and chisel, the kind you'd use to carve stone, applied directly to your mouth. There was no precision. No, let me just numb this area first. You got a leather strap to bite down on, maybe a shot of rum if you were lucky, and then it was go time. Let's be clear, anesthesia didn't exist yet. Well, that's not entirely true. Alcohol existed, and people used it liberally, both the patient and sometimes the tooth drawer, which really didn't help anyone's odds. Some people tried opium, others went with good old-fashioned prayer. A few tooth drawers claimed they could hypnotize you into not feeling pain, which, spoiler alert, did not work. So when that iron hook sank into your gum and the pulling started, you felt everything. Every crack, every splinter, every nerve ending lighting up like a firework show you definitely didn't buy tickets for. People screamed, they fainted, they kicked. There are historical accounts of patients punching their tooth drawers mid-extraction, which, honestly, fair. And here's the kicker. Sometimes they pulled the wrong tooth. You'd sit there, drenched in sweat and tears, only for Roger the barber surgeon to go, "Oops, wrong one. Shall we try again?" Infection was just expected. So let's say the tooth comes out. Congratulations, you're not done yet. Because now you've got an open wound in your mouth. And this is the 18th century. Germ theory won't be widely accepted for another 100 years. No one's sterilizing anything. That rusty dental key? It was used on 6 other people today. The pliers? Wiped on a rag. Maybe. Infections were rampant. Abscesses, fever, swelling that could close your throat. Some people died, not from the toothache, from the extraction. And if you didn't die, you got to enjoy weeks of agony as your jaw tried to figure out what the hell just happened. People walked around with swollen faces, drooling, unable to eat anything that wasn't porridge. But hey, at least the tooth was gone. Now, if you were wealthy, you had another option. You could get a replacement tooth, not a fake one, a real one, pulled fresh from someone else's mouth. Yes, tooth transplants were a thing. Rich people would pay poor people, often servants or desperate street kids, to have their healthy teeth yanked out and implanted into the rich person's gums. Did it work? Sometimes. For a few months. Until your body rejected the foreign tooth, it rotted or it just fell out. But for a brief, glorious window, you could smile with someone else's stolen molar. There were also teeth, harvested from battlefields. After major wars, tooth drawers would roam the fields, plucking teeth from the dead. They called them Waterloo teeth after the famous battle. Imagine explaining to your dentist today that your new crown came from a corpse in Belgium. And here's the wildest part. People watched. Tooth extractions were often performed in public. Market squares, street corners, fairs. The tooth drawer would set up a little stage, and people would gather around like it was dinner theatre. Why? Entertainment. This was before Netflix, before anything really. Watching someone get a tooth ripped out of their skull while screaming was peak drama. Some tooth drawers even hired musicians to play loud instruments during the procedure, not to soothe the patient, to drown out the screaming so it wouldn't scare away future customers. Imagine getting your tooth yanked to a jaunty fiddle tune while a crowd cheers. It was horrifying. It was absurd. It was the 18th century. The slow dawn of actual dentistry. Things did start to improve, slowly. In 1728, a French surgeon named Pierre Fauchard published The Surgeon Dentist, which is considered the foundation of modern dentistry. He introduced better tools, proper techniques, and the radical idea that maybe we shouldn't let blacksmiths do dental surgery. By the late 1700s, actual dental schools began to appear. People started to realize that oral health mattered, that teeth weren't just things you pulled out when they hurt. But even then, progress was slow. Anesthesia wouldn't arrive until the 1840 seconds. Proper sterilization took even longer. For most of the 18th century, if you had a toothache, you were still at the mercy of Roger and his pliers. So tonight, as you lie in bed, maybe take a moment to appreciate your dentist. Yes, even the one who makes small talk while their hands are in your mouth. Even the one who tells you to floss more. Because 250 years ago, dental care was a gamble with your life, a public spectacle, a dance with infection, agony, and a man named Roger who may or may not have washed his hands this week. We've come a long way, and your teeth, they're grateful. So, as you drift off tonight, be thankful for the little things: Novocaine, sterilization, dentists who actually went to dental school. And if you wake up tomorrow with a toothache, remember, at least no one's coming at you with a chisel and a crowd of onlookers. Sweet dreams, everyone, and maybe brush your teeth in the morning. If you enjoy this journey into the horrors of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Charlie's Bedtime Stories, where the past is always stranger, funnier, and more painful than you thought. Sleep well. Your teeth have earned it.